Do you want to get better at backgammon? One of the best ways to improve is by studying. Studying positions where you may be unclear of the correct choice, or you may make the wrong choice, or you may make the right choice for the wrong idea. And in this video, I'm doing a position analysis on a position from the 2025 Backgammon World Championships in Monte Carlo. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what you'd like to see in future videos, and I'll work on it. If you love backgammon, you can become a member of this channel, giving you exclusive access to the most popular videos. My book, Backgammon Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description where you can get it. If you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is also in the description. Again, in this video, I'm doing a position analysis from the finals of the 2025 Backgammon World Championships in Monte Carlo. And this one is about making the bar point with an early 6-1. This is the position. I'm showing you the position on a beautiful Backgammon Galaxy Monte Carlo board with the Monte Carlo inlay that was used originally for the World Championships a few years ago. The XG replica was made by Rain. He makes beautiful XG boards. There's a link in the description to where you can get them. So this was the first game of a 19-point match. So 0-0, 19 away, 19 away. White is playing at the bottom, black at the top, bearing off on the left. Now, a few moves into the game, White has a 6-1 to play. So think about how you would play a 6-1 in this position. Pause the video if you like, and we'll look at the analysis in a moment. Here's the analysis. You can see the rollout is on the left. So you can see all this data here. 24, 23, 24, 18 is the best. And then making the bar point with 13.7, 8.7 is an error, almost a blunder of 78 millipoints. So the best play is actually to do the two-up play, the double split, playing 24, 23, 24, 18, as indicated by the arrows shown here, and that results in this position. The natural play of making the bar point, which you do normally with an early 6-1, 13-7, 8-7, as indicated by these arrows, is like this. It ends up in a position like this. Now, usually it's really nice to have this bar point because now you're kind of blocking. Even though you have this ace point behind the 2-point anchor, now you're blocking the 4s, 5s, and 6s. However, it's a pretty big error. So the question is why? So this is the position. In this position, you have what are called glued back checkers, two checkers on the 24 point that are not split. So this is important because when they're anchored on the 24 or glued here, it's much more difficult to escape one of them or make an advanced anchor. And here, against all these checkers here, you might get primed, as we'll see in a moment. The other thing you'll notice is there's a reduced midpoint. I call it a reduced midpoint when it's reduced to 3 checkers. So when you start with in the opening position, you start with 5 checkers, and that's kind of like a supply of checkers to bring down into your outfield. When it gets reduced to 3 checkers, there's only 1 spare checker that you can use before breaking the midpoint. And it's important to keep the midpoint because it serves as a landing spot for these back checkers. These are disconnected from the rest of the army. That's the primary liability in the opening position and early in the game. So basically, it serves as a resting spot or a landing spot for these back checkers. Once it's reduced to 3, and you use that 1 checker, that spare, it's stripped. So now there are 2. So you might have to actually break it, which can become a real issue bringing these back checkers home. If you notice, black has 10 checkers in the zone, 5 here, 3 here, and 2 more here. So these checkers are placed really nicely to make subsequent interboard points or the bar points. So let's look at all of the combinations of at least the non-doublets that you can use these checkers to make the 5-point or the 4-point. So you can make the 5-point with a 6-5, 6-3, 6-1, 5-3, 5-1, 3-1. That's 12 numbers. Okay, you can make the 4-point with 6-4, 6-2, and 4-2. That's another 6 numbers. So half the numbers will make one of those 2 points, and that's not including the doubles. So there are things like double 4s, double 3s, double 2s, double 1s that all do something good. So that means black is going to make a priming point, most likely, or highly likely, and you might get stuck with these 2 back checkers. Also, this white has a big racing lead because white tried a double 5 blitz earlier, which was failed because black was able to anchor, but white has a big racing lead. So when you have a big racing lead, that means all of these checkers have been dumped deep into your board, so you don't have a supply of timing or checkers to be able to move before you get these back checkers moving. The other thing you'll notice is white has a 3-point board here, whereas black only has a white 1-point board. So that means white is a favorite in a potential hitting exchange or a blot hitting contest. That means white can play more boldly than otherwise. You can afford to leave blots. The correct play is always dependent on the likelihood of future outcomes. So what you need to do is look at the possible future outcomes. Think about how all of the opponent's roles play next and compare that between how they play after one play versus the other play. So let's start with 4-2. We'll look at a few roles here. After you made the correct splitting play with a 24-18 and 24-23, now if black rolls a 4-2, it's played like this, 11-7, 10-8, which results in this position. You are on the bar, but you have like a 5 shot here, and you can hit with other 7s. There are a lot of numbers that actually hit. In contrast, if you make the bar point and now black rolls a 4-2, it's played like this. Again, as I discussed, making the 4-point, resulting in this position. Now it's going to be really hard for you to move these back checkers. So a double 5 is going to be really bad. 5-3 is going to be bad. Even 4-3, for example, is going to be bad. Other rolls like 3-1, all the 5s and the 3s are not very good. So like if you roll like a 5-2, it's not good. So you have to think about how your numbers play. Now let's say you made the top play and now black rolls a 5-1. It's played like this, resulting in this position. Now black has the 5-point, but now you have the bar point slotted, so now 5 can be used to make the 18-point anchor, a 5 or a 4-1 or 3-2. In contrast, once you make the bar point and it's like this, it results in this position, and now it's going to be very hard to make an anchor here. And if we go back to this position, once you make the 18-point anchor, this 5-point is devalued. Michi calls this a phoenix point when you have your 18-point and the opponent has the 5-point. The reason is the 5-point is a good blocking point. So in this position, now with these 2 back checkers, black is very happy to have this 5-point because these 2 are stuck here and it's going to be really hard to come out. So now other rolls like 5-4, double 5 again, 5-4 I mentioned, 4-3, 4-2 is going to be awkward. There are going to be a lot of bad rolls here. 4-1, 5-1 may not be good. 5-2 is not good. A lot of bad numbers here. Now let's say you make the top play and black rolls a 3-1. Here it serves as a distraction. So black is forced to make the bar point on head, resulting in this position. This leaves the awkward 6-1 formation of the giraffe formation, where you have this big stack on the 6-point and stripped points on the stripped 7 and 8 points. So therefore, if you want to make an interboard point using one of the checkers from the 7 or the 8, you must break it. So it's an awkward and inflexible structure. You do have one checker on the bar. However, if you stayed back and made the bar point and black rolls a 3-1, it's played like this, making the 5 point, resulting in this position, and now you're going to have a lot of trouble getting your back checkers moving. Again, the same kinds of rolls, 5-4, the fours and fives are really bad. Now let's say you make the top play and black rolls a 6-2. It's played like this, making the 4 point, which results in this position. Now, again, you have fives and you have 4-1 and 3-2 to make the 18-point anchor, which is really good. You also have other fours along with 3-1 and double two to hit. And that's a lot. You can also hit with a 6-3. In contrast, if you make the bar point and now black rolls a 6-2, it's played like this, making the 4 point and results in this position. Now you're going to be stuck, and now the midpoint is stripped. It's going to be really hard. If you roll like another 6-1, for example, that's going to be problematic because now if you were to do the split, it's a little bit more dangerous given that black has a 2 point board. Now let's say black rolls a 5-3. After the top play, it's played like this, again, making the 5 point, and that results in this position. And again, you have these options with fives to anchor and fours to hit. If you make the bar point and black rolls a 5-3, makes the same play, resulting in this position, but now you're going to get stuck. There are a lot of bad rolls. So there are four major basic game plans to win without the doubling cube in backgammon. The first and simplest is racing. Just bring your checkers around and bearing them off before your opponent. The second is a priming strategy where you make some blocking points to prevent your opponent's back checkers from escaping. The third is a blitzing strategy or attacking strategy where you hit and you put the opponent on the bar while you bring everything around, hoping to win a gammon. And the final one is a contact strategy, where if all else fails, you maintain an anchor or multiple anchors on the opponent's side and try to wait for a shot to turn the game around. Sometimes you can have multiple game plans that work for you. For example, in this game, in this position, white was playing a blitz, but it didn't work because black anchored. However, if black ever leaves a blot or breaks the anchor, you may still have the chance to attack and continue the blitz. Additionally, because of the early double fives, white gained a lot of pips, so white is ahead in the race. So white can also race. In contrast, black had all those checkers in the zone that were very useful to make priming points. So black's trying to prime. So you really want to get things moving before you get primed. One basic thing is when ahead in the race, race. Like in this position, because white was ahead so far in the race, you want to make a racing play and get the back checkers moving. When you have two checkers glued on the 24 point and a reduced midpoint or a stripped midpoint against the priming structure, like was the case in this position, and you have a big racing lead, moving the back checkers becomes very urgent because what happens is staying back can get you stuck behind a prime, as we saw in all those positions where we looked at how the subsequent rolls would play for the opponent. When you split your back checkers early in the game or even later in the game, it has multiple benefits. Number one, it increases the chances of escaping one. So when you're split to the 18 point, you can roll something like a 6-2 and bring that one around. It also increases the chance of making an advanced anchor. So we saw that with fives, 4-1, 3-2, you can make that 18-point anchor. It also decreases the risk of getting primed. When you have an advanced anchor, like the 18 point or the 20 point, it really decreases the risk of you getting primed and getting your checkers stuck back. But when you have a deep anchor on the 24 or even the 23, and sometimes even the 22, you can get primed much easier. Relative board strength is also an important consideration when you're making plays where you're leaving blots. Relative board strength refers to the strength of your board versus the opponent's board. So here, white had a 3-point board versus a 1-point board. So with a 3-point board, there are 9 dancing numbers with 1 checker on the bar, but with a 1-point board, it's only a single one. So in the event of a hitting exchange, the one with the stronger board is a favorite. So you're more likely to want to get into a hitting exchange if you have a stronger board. In general, however, as always, you have to look at the entire position and take everything else into consideration. So the tips for this position, before any roll, identify the position type and think about your objectives. Am I trying to race? Am I trying to prime? Am I trying to blitz or am I trying to hold contact? And sometimes multiple things can be done. For example, in this position, you could try to race and you could try to blitz. You don't really want to hold contact because you're up so far in the race. Additionally, as we said, look at the entire board to prevent making a reflexive play. It's very easy to make the bar point with an early 6-1 because you just bring a checker down from the midpoint. Usually that unstacks a heavy midpoint with 5 checkers on it or even 4 checkers on it. But when it's reduced, you have to really think about that. So look at everything, think about what kind of game plan you have and what you would like to do, what your objectives are to avoid making a reflexive play like that. So that was a position analysis from the 2025 Backgammon World Championships final. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what you'd like to see in future videos, and I'll work on it. Again, if you love backgammon, you can become a member of this channel, giving you exclusive access to the most popular videos. My book, Backgammon Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is also in the description. I look forward to seeing you in future videos, and until then, keep rolling your dice.